There is no choice but to cross the next minefield. Even if reality suggests that the entire battlefield is, in fact, one vast expanse of minds. Thus, to pass through requires a rare kind of spiritual fortitude and intellectual courage. And we repeat still, and shall continue to repeat in every part. Walk with unwavering steps, as long as your gaze remains fixed upon the heavens. Are you ready? I truly wish I did not have to mention what follows, for it complicates the matter and subjects me to ridicule. Yet, as long as the evidence propels me in this direction, I shall follow it without hesitation. I do not believe that the Anunnaki, referenced in the Sumerian tablets, and the white Martians mentioned by Brian Desborough, are one and the same. There may well be a genetic connection between them. But after gathering extensive evidence, perspectives, research, and theories, I am convinced that the Anunnaki represent the genetic lineage referenced in UFO studies, those later known as the reptilian humanoids. And truly, I'm not alone in this conclusion. Many others have arrived at the same deduction through their independent research. Among them is Dr. Arthur David Horn, professor of anthropology at the University of Colorado, who once firmly believed in Darwin's theory of gradual human evolution, but who now contends that a race from another planet seeded modern humanity, and that a reptilian species has ruled Earth for thousands of years and continues to do so. Dr. Horn elaborated on his findings in his book Humanity's Extraterrestrial Origins, where he identifies the beings referred to in the Sumerian tablets as Anunnaki as members of a reptilian race. Similarly, British astrophysicist Fred Hoyle stated during a press conference held in London in 1971 that the world is under the control of a force that manifests in various forms. He added, "They are everywhere, in the sky, in the sea, and on the land, controlling human beings through their minds." I understand how bizarre this may sound, but you must continue reading or watching to judge for yourself the validity of the evidence supporting this theory. Should you choose to stop, that is your decision, but you will forfeit the opportunity to discover that what seems implausible may, in fact, be true. Indeed, non-human races have long dwelled upon this earth and remain here still, such as the race the Sumerians call the Anunnaki, and which other ancient texts referred to as the serpent race. Some of these other races may even have waged war against the Anunnaki, for ancient texts speak of divine battles for control over the world. In addition to the internal conflicts among Anunnaki factions recorded in the Sumerian tablets, even today we find numerous testimonies from individuals claiming to have seen beings resembling frogs or lizards, with similar skin, faces, and protruding eyes. Jason Bishop, an investigator of extraterrestrial phenomena, notes that reptilians are generally taller than humans, with cold blood like earthly reptiles. They seem to possess diminished emotional sensitivity, making expressions of affection difficult for them. Yet they are remarkably intelligent and possess highly advanced technology. I must confess, it is an apt description of the conduct and demeanor of the brotherhood that rules our world today. It also mirrors the portrayals of many ancient deities cited in myths and sacred texts. In the Ubaid civilization, which preceded the Sumerians in what is now Iraq, depictions of their gods reveal figures with reptilian and lizard-like features, a literal reflection of the deities said to have ruled over many of Earth's early civilizations. In the civilizations of Central America, the feathered serpent was revered as a god, while the Indians worshipped a serpent deity adorned with feathers. The traditions of the Native Americans abound with serpent imagery, including the mysterious serpent effigy carved into the hill at Ohio. Moreover, the East Indians speak of reptilian deities whom they regard as a race of demons. The Egyptians, too, had a serpent god, as did the Phoenicians, who venerated a deity with a serpent's face. In voodoo religion, there is a god named Dambalawedo, who is depicted in the form of a serpent. The Hebrews worshipped a god known as the bronze serpent, and the ancient British god called the dragon, the ruler of the world, was known as Who. It is believed that the word human may have been derived from this very source. Perhaps the archetype of the fire-breathing dragon and the malevolent serpent that appears in myths and scriptures across the globe originates from the ancient reptilian deities who once ruled openly for millennia, before retreating into secrecy for reasons unknown. There are also numerous narratives that parallel religious stories, with the dragon as a central figure. Among the Persians, there is a tale of a paradise called Eden, described as the most beautiful place on earth and the dwelling of the first man, until a malevolent spirit in the form of a serpent seduced him into tasting the forbidden fruit. In the legends of ancient Greece, there exists the myth of the Isles of the Blessed and the Garden of the Golden Apples, where the fruit of immortality grows, guarded by a dragon. In Chinese sacred texts, a garden is described where trees bear the fruit of eternal life, protected by a winged serpent. An Indian legend tells of a sacred mountain guarded by a fierce dragon. Sacred sites protected by fire-breathing dragons abound in legend, as well as tales of another type of reptilian creature, half human, half reptile, who imparts spiritual wisdom to mankind. Have you observed the recurring link between reptilian beings and demons? This connection is strikingly close to the truth. The reptilian race, or the Anunnaki, or the Martian lineage, or whatever name they may bear, are merely different facets of the same coin. One can clearly discern that the abilities ascribed to them by David Icke, as drawn from ancient texts, myths, and beliefs, are unmistakably demonic in nature. This is made manifest through the serpent being used as a sacred religious symbol to venerate the devil, a symbol that persists today in esoteric and deceptive spiritual doctrines such as energy healing, the awakening of hidden powers, and other modern movements, most notably represented by the Kundalini serpent. This very serpent also appears in one of the most prominent medical symbols found on pharmacy signs across the world. It is well known that, in ancient times, demons could take form openly and would eavesdrop on the higher assembly of the heavens, until the advent of the seal of the prophets, Muhammad, peace be upon him, after which they were barred from open manifestation and the gates of the heavens were sealed against them. However, it is worth noting that some scholars propose that these entities were not prevented from appearing in our world. Rather, they gradually imprisoned human consciousness within the confines of the material dimension. Thus, mankind lost the ability to perceive higher realms and consequently to see them. In this way, they effectively diminished human faculties, gaining the upper hand by being able to manifest without humanity discerning their true nature. It is also important to mention that we interject our perspectives based on our religious framework in the form of annotations, so that the audience does not mistake our beliefs for those of David Icke. As we stated from the beginning, we have reservations about some of the concepts presented, but intellectual integrity requires that we convey them faithfully, while occasionally offering gentle reminders that encourage one to look toward the heavens. Moreover, at the conclusion of this documentary, we will dedicate a special segment to clarify many matters, chief among them, why we chose this book specifically to present as a documentary. Reptilian beings share a profound and ancient bond with the Earth, one that extends back more than 150 million years, an era dominated by the dinosaurs. Although not all dinosaurs were cold-blooded, as recent research has revealed, their physical characteristics closely mirror those of reptiles. Studies suggest that had it not been for catastrophic disruptions approximately 65 million years ago, dinosaurs might have continued evolving into humanoid reptilian forms. It is therefore plausible that dinosaurs evolved not only on Earth but perhaps also in another dimension or on a distant planet. Yet how could they have evolved on Earth if they supposedly went extinct? The truth may be that they never truly vanished. Modern paleontology increasingly supports the idea that not all dinosaurs perished when a meteor struck the Earth 65 million years ago. Some may still exist to this day. Mounting evidence suggests that birds are, in fact, descendants of dinosaurs. While the bodies of most dinosaurs perished, their consciousness, being a form of energy, persisted, for energy cannot be destroyed, only transformed. So, what became of the consciousness that once reigned over the Earth for 150 million years? As previously mentioned, dragons feature prominently in ancient lore from Assyria, Babylon, China, the Old Testament, Rome, the Americas, Africa, India, and beyond. Likewise, serpent symbols have been uncovered across ancient Britain, Greece, Malta, Egypt, Mexico, Peru, and the islands of the Pacific. Many of these depictions bear a striking resemblance to known species of dinosaurs. Numerous Indian lizards resemble dragons so closely that they have been named Draco in homage to the celestial constellation believed to be the origin of reptilian entities. Moreover, the armored lizard known as Moloch horridus, dragon-like in form, was once venerated with sacrificial offerings of children thousands of years ago, a gruesome ritual that persists today within satanic cult networks. These offerings are made to reptilian entities, as many of the demonic beings we shall encounter are, in fact, these same ancient reptiles who have long sought dominion over the world. Let us then pose once more the essential question that may guide us toward a deeper understanding. Where do they come from? And where are they now? Three principal theories attempt to explain the origins of these beings. The first posits that they arrive from another planet. The second suggests their origin lies in another dimension. The third claims they emerged from within the Earth itself. As for the extraterrestrial theory, research into reptilian phenomena indicates that some entities originate from the Draco constellation, an astral formation that includes Thuban, the star once used to align the pyramids of Egypt to the east. Author and researcher Robert Bauval asserts that the Giza pyramids are aligned with the stars of Orion's belt, just as they appeared in 10,050 BC, when the constellation reached its nadir. Meanwhile, writer Graham Hancock and others propose that the Sphinx in Giza, believed to be older than mainstream scholars admit, faces the constellation Leo directly. Hancock's research also suggests that the ancient temple complex at Angkor in Cambodia mirrors the layout of the Draco constellation as it appeared in 10,500 BC. This era marked a pivotal moment when human civilizations and other races on Earth strove to reconstruct their societies and reclaim what had been lost during the cataclysms of 11,000 BC, as discussed in a prior section. The temples of Angkor, like the ruins of other ancient civilizations, including Egypt, India, and Mesoamerica, are richly adorned with reptilian imagery, a common hallmark of these age-old cultures. Curiously, ancient temples and structures belonging to seemingly unrelated civilizations are aligned with astonishing astronomical, mathematical, and architectural precision. This remarkable coordination implies that these societies, though apparently disconnected, may have originated from a common source. According to the research of Professor Philip Callahan regarding the mysterious round towers of Ireland, these structures are aligned precisely with stars in the northern sky during the winter solstice. Notably, they correspond with the Draco constellation. Consider Northern Ireland, a small country long marred by conflict and suffering. Researcher John Rhodes, a proponent of the reptilian presence, suggests these beings may be cosmic invaders who travel from planet to planet, infiltrating or even dominating host civilizations. While the reptilian military seizes living forms, their scientists study biology and insert reptilian genetic codes into species they wish to exploit. This often includes a hybridization program, essentially interbreeding between species. This is precisely what Sumerian tablets describe in their accounts of the Anunnaki. Rhodes further explains that from their subterranean bases, the reptilians established a network of hybrid bloodlines that have infiltrated every layer of surface civilization. These hybrids, many of whom are unaware they carry reptilian genes, are mentally and spiritually influenced, serving as agents to facilitate a future reptilian takeover. He adds that reptiles embed themselves in human society through secret societies, their primary tool for control. In his book, The Gods of Eden, American author and researcher William Bramley presents a theory that the Anunnaki created a secret society known as the Brotherhood of the Serpent. This brotherhood, he argues, became the core of a global secret society network ruled by reptilian forces. As for the theory that these beings originate from beneath the earth, many reports describe them as inhabitants of vast underground caverns, tunnels, and chambers. This view is echoed in an ancient Indian legend which speaks of a tunnel beneath the city of Los Angeles, inhabited by a race of lizard beings some 5,000 years ago. In 1933, mining engineer Warren Schufelt claimed to have discovered this cavern. Some say secret societies still conduct rituals within it today. In 1909, explorer G.E. Kincaid reportedly found an underground city built with the same precision as the Great Pyramid, hidden in Arizona's Grand Canyon. According to Professor Jordan, leader of the expedition, the mummified remains discovered there were of apparent Eastern or Egyptian origin. Among the many artifacts uncovered were copper tools harder than steel. However, the Smithsonian Institution allegedly worked to suppress these discoveries, a function it is said to have carried out consistently. This might have remained a secret had not a local newspaper published 2 articles on the matter in April of 1909. These revelations draw a compelling link to the Hopi myth of Sipapu, the underworld from which they believe their ancestors emerged. The Hopi say that in ancient times, they lived underground, sustained by a race possibly extraterrestrial in origin, known as the Greys. One day, they emerged from caves they called Sipapu. Upon their emergence, a deceptive bird arrived and confused their language, causing each tribe to speak a different tongue. To this day, the Hopi refuse to depict their serpent ancestors, fearing death. Kincaid described the design of the subterranean world he found in Arizona as resembling a vast chamber with numerous radiating passageways, strikingly similar to modern reports of the reptilian base beneath Dulce, New Mexico. The Brotherhood exerts control over the world through concentric rings of influence, with each layer representing different levels of esoteric knowledge. Among their strongholds are Arizona, New Mexico, and the Four Corners region, where Arizona, Utah, Colorado, and New Mexico intersect. This region is believed to be one of the most significant areas on Earth for subterranean reptilian activity. Among researchers of extraterrestrial phenomena, there is a widespread belief that these reptilian bases are operated in collaboration with elite members of the hybrid bloodline. Finally, regarding the theory that posits their origin from another dimension, my research conducted over several years has led me to conclude that the reptilians exert mental control over humans from an alternate realm, the lower fourth dimension. Without a profound understanding of life's nature and the multidimensional universe, it becomes impossible to comprehend the process of manipulation and dominion over Earth by a non-human force. As scientists and scholars affirm, the world consists of an infinite number of life waves or dimensions sharing the same space, much like radio and television waves. Thus, when you tune into the three-dimensional world, our physical reality, that becomes your perceived existence. In other words, you are locked onto this frequency. However, akin to radio and television, all stations broadcast simultaneously. If you switch the radio wave or channel frequency, the station you were tuned to does not cease to exist. It continues to broadcast uninterrupted, yet you can no longer hear or see it because you're no longer aligned with its frequency. Therefore, the matter is intrinsically linked to human consciousness. Some people, if not all to be truthful, possess the ability to recalibrate their consciousness to other waves, connecting to alternative forms of awareness operating on these frequencies. Although this capability appears supernatural, it is in fact an innate human faculty that enables individuals to shift their current station and access another, albeit hidden from ordinary perception. From one of these stations or alternate dimensions, the serpent race or Anunnaki governs this world through the possession of certain bloodlines. Moreover, the reptilian overlords of the fourth dimension themselves are subordinate to entities in the fifth dimension, who, in turn, answer to beings in the sixth dimension, and so forth. Where does this hierarchy end? No one knows. Though it seems we have reached an impasse, such is the nature of truth. Icke proposes three hypotheses regarding the origin of the reptilians. They either hail from an extraterrestrial planet, from the Earth's interior, or from another dimension. While he acknowledges the validity of all three, he leans towards the notion that they arrive from another dimension, the lower fourth dimension. Accordingly, we believe his intuition guides him toward the reality of these entities, who bear many names but are essentially demons with a known and clear purpose. Undoubtedly, these are the entities he refers to, as will become evident in the following passage, since he repeatedly emphasizes that not all of these beings are malevolent or spiteful. This is almost certain, for it is not only demons who inhabit the lower fourth dimension, but also jinn, both righteous and wicked, as God Almighty has described them speaking. And indeed, among us are the righteous, and among us are others, not so. We were of divided ways. And among us are Muslims in submission to Allah, and among us are the unjust. Meaning, there are many types, and the discourse generally concerns only one type, the malevolent, demonic beings. Thus, we have discerned their origins from outer space, the Earth's interior, or another dimension. But where are they now? Or rather, from which place do they orchestrate their dominion? As we have stated, the station from which the Reptilians broadcast lies within the lower level of the fourth dimension, the plane closest to our material world. Some refer to this dimension as the lower astral plane, or the primary realm of demons and malevolent entities dating back to ancient times. From this lower fourth dimension, satanic cultists today summon these demonic beings in the dark rituals of black magic they practice. Certain researchers suggest that the reptilians, who do not manifest in visible form, gained access to this dimension through rifts, gates, or passages in space-time caused by nuclear tests and explosions that began in the deserts of New Mexico in the early 1940s. However, I believe these passages have existed for a long time, since an era when the world possessed technology far more advanced than it does now. Yet, as I emphasize and will continue to emphasize, not all reptilians harbor malevolent intentions. They are, like us humans, diverse in desires, purposes, and goals, ranging between good and evil. Hence, I refer here to a particular faction among them, not the entirety of the species. This malevolent ruling faction arrived either from the Draco constellation, the Earth's interior, or other dimensions, and they distinguished themselves by their predilection for drinking blood. Perhaps the tales of vampires symbolize them. Do you know the name of the most famous vampire? Indeed, Count Dracula. The title Count symbolizes the aristocratic bloodlines of a hybrid race dominated by the reptilians from the lower fourth dimension. And Dracula clearly alludes to the dragon, or the Draco constellation, from which the reptilians originated. Recent reports of vampires in Puerto Rico, Mexico, Florida, and the Pacific Northwest correspond to descriptions of reptilians, as they were observed sucking the blood of animals. Accordingly, we deduce that the reptilians physically manifest in subterranean realms and interact in underground bases with humans and the hybrid race of scientists and military leaders. However, the primary form of control is exerted through complete mental possession. The hybridization program detailed in the Sumerian tablets and the Old Testament imbued this hybrid lineage with a reptilian genetic marker, making them easily dominated by reptilians from the lower fourth dimension. As we shall observe, these bloodlines evolved into aristocratic classes and royal families who, through the British Empire, spread worldwide to govern America, Africa, Asia, Australia, New Zealand, and beyond. On the other hand, reptilians from the lower fourth dimension disguise themselves in human form or dominate the minds of individuals from these hybrid bloodlines via part of the human brain known as the reptilian brain. According to neuroanatomist Paul MacLean, this ancient part of the brain governs another that predates history, which some scientists call the R-complex. The letter R stands for reptilian, reflecting our reptilian heritage. Astronomer Carl Sagan, although publicly dismissive, privately acknowledged more than he revealed, spending much of his career diverting people from the truth. His true understanding surfaced inadvertently when he said, "There is no need to ignore the reptilian part of human nature, for it helps us comprehend the reality of man." In his book, The Dragons of Eden, he writes that the darker side of human behavior is expressed by terms used to describe reptiles, such as cold-blooded murder. Sagan knew the truth but chose not to disclose it openly. Thus, the concept of a reptilian race controlling the world from another dimension is a rational idea. Awareness of this reptilian connection is growing among truth-seeking researchers, not those who defend ideological systems or seek popular approval and support. There is abundant evidence pointing to the existence of these entities. In 1998, I met numerous individuals who told me they witnessed people physically transforming into reptiles before reverting to human form. Two broadcasters experienced this during a live interview with a man defending total centralized power known as the New World Order. After the broadcast, one host told her colleague that during the conversation, she saw the man's face morph into a lizard-like creature and then return to human. Her colleague was astonished, having seen the guest's hands transform into reptilian claws. The broadcaster also recounted a police officer friend's experience. The officer asked the manager of a company about security procedures in the building's basement, and she told him he should check the upper floors to truly understand their comprehensiveness. She indicated an elevator leading to specific floors and recounted what she had witnessed weeks earlier. The elevator door opened, and a strange creature with a reptilian face and vertically slit pupils emerged before heading to a car outside that resembled an official vehicle waiting for it. This story piqued the officer's curiosity, prompting him to investigate the companies on the upper floors accessed by the mysterious elevator. He discovered that these companies were mere facades for the CIA, the Central Intelligence Agency. Many fascinating details about the reptilians remain undisclosed. Yet, as always, do not lose your bearings or become lost in the labyrinth of theories, ideas, stories, and narratives. Despite the strangeness of the claim, these beings are real, existent, and do indeed control the world. They are neither mere reptiles nor evolved dinosaurs, nor races from other planets. Some are demons incarnate from the jinn, while others are disguised human demons.